Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to tonight's episode of Set Jump Block Marathon Madness. I'm your host, Johnson McBain. Um, I'm trying to pronounce my words better because YouTube has this feature uh, where they have AI and stuff, and I've been testing it, and it's been getting words spelled wrong because captions or whatever, or whatever the AI thinks is spelling my words wrong. They think I'm saying something else, but or misspelling what I'm saying. So I needed to. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it better, but so AI can function. Yeah, because that's the world that we're living in, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on here. Okay, so tonight we're going to discuss. Hold on. Season 1, episode 35, hard project but staying positive. And and then we're going to discuss, there's another one we're going to discuss too. Um, Season 1, episode 61, and this is the near the end of season 1, positive feeling still. Right. So here we go. So let's start off with hard project but staying positive. So in this episode is a normal episode. So goes to Breakfast Club, um, and he hangs out with Erica, chats with Erica, chats with his friends in the Breakfast Club, and eats his breakfast, does all that. And then he goes to first period, which is English arts, um, with Miss Hendricks. I hope they spell it right. Um, but um, and it's the same old. And then they go to the second period, which is reading. Okay, reading with Miss Warnock, which I think they're probably doing a reading assignment. Maybe they're reading some type of novel or something. Probably at this point, maybe it's this activity or something. So, and then it's play algebra with Miss Carnell, Car, Car now, AI, okay, and I think they are working on an activity and homework, and it's kind of stressful, it's kind of hard, but he's staying calm, he's staying positive. Um, he gets help from Miss Carnell and Miss Warnock, and he gets through it, and then he goes to lunch with the Brotherhood, not Barhood. That's what AI thought I was saying. Butter, like your butter hood, butter hood, like a hood of a car. Butter hood. Okay. I need to train this AI stuff. So anyway, and they eat lunch, They have fun. They you know play games on their phone. Maybe block. I mean, not block quest or whatever everyone popular. I mean, using. Okay. Um. So and they just have fun, and then they go to study hall, and then he goes to science. And in science, they're having a pretty hard. They have a project, and like activity that they're working on, I think, and it's a hard project. He's having a hard time with it. Um, it's a struggle, but he has his Brotherhood members, Jared and Cameron, that's in there as well, I think, and some other people. Help him. Miss Fairchild helps him. Um, um, and he gets through it. He stays positive. It's a hard project, but he's staying positive. And then he goes to choir with Mr. Neville, uh, kind of like devil, but a N instead of a D. Neville, and they practice for a coming choir concert, which we'll talk about in a future Marathon Madness. And they're just singing, practicing notes and everything with Bradley and Jared and all the other people. Um, and then after that, he goes to civics. I do call it chaotic civics because it's crazy and chaotic because the teacher is wild. Mr. Winwich, not I thought I was saying Wicked Witch, which is Mr. Wicked Witch or something, or Witch or something, which is kind of close. He was kind of like a wizard or something wicked or something. Sometimes he was wild. Um, but he was chill. He had chill moments, but he is really strict and really kind of wild. Um, and it's Lin Witch. It's like when you're asking when are we doing this, and then what winch like a winch that the tool. Um, or it might be no, it's when and then which. Like which place are we eating at, and where we're going, which place we're. That's what this is AI. Okay. When which. Um, but he gets through that. Then he goes to resource and Erica, Kayla, and Jennifer, and it's stressful for Hunter, but he stays calm, works on pre-algebra homework for the day, and it's done. And then he's going home, and he's gonna strut his stuff, and be a savage, like he always is. The same old, but hey, but every day is a little bit different. So next, I'm gonna talk about positive feelings still. So I'm not going to talk about the day-to-day schedule, but Hunter, as we know, is the leader of the Brotherhood. And he has been for several months now. Um, August, September is now November. August, September, October, 3 months now at this point. And it's been overall good, but there's been lots of tea, there's been lots of drama, there's been lots of chaos, madness with the Brotherhood member. Um, So, Brotherhood members, AI. um, but all groups have that, but they're not being loyal to Hunter. Hunter has to have it his way, or I have said that many times. And they have guidelines and rules, and they don't respect Hunter and his leadership. Some of the members. Now some of the members do, and they're great, and they're on top of the pyramid. but or high up on the pyramid. And one thing that pyramid Hunter is always on top of the pyramid because he makes the pyramid his. He's leader. It's his brotherhood, and it's his pyramid. So he can decide where everyone will be. Now, there's one time which we'll talk about in the future, Marathon Madness, and that um a couple members were on top, or all of them, I think, were on the top of the pyramid one day because they had an extremely good week the past week. But we'll get into that in the future. Like, but that was only one time that Hunter was on top, and his assistant's on top, but next to him. So I guess that's the only exception. Um, but where was I? But he just has he's at his wits' end. He's at his breaking point. Hunter, as leader, is, and with the Brotherhood, the main Brotherhood. And at this point, Hunter has the Brotherhood 2.0. At this point, the second Brotherhood, which I'll get into more details in the future Marathon Man. There's so many things to still are ahead of us. Um, but I'm not. I'm gonna tell about it later. But at this point, he has two Brotherhood teams. Um, and he has a Savage Club, which we'll get into the lore of that, and we'll get into that later. But um, but anyway, he has these three portions of the Brotherhood, the two main ones, and then a side quest, I guess, a side mission, which I'm excited to talk about. But he is the Brotherhood leader. He's the leader of all of it. So, but he's getting his patience is being thinned. He's reaching the limit. He's reaching the crazy point, the madness point. With the birth of the last couple weeks, the last month or so, or more, Hunter has been doing these crazy and drama and what's the word? Uh, jealous members. Which I want to say the member's name uh, at this point is so AI can know him. And know what. So it's me, Hunter. I'm the leader. Hamden is my assistant. Um, and then we have Nick. We have um, John. We have Adam. We have Bradley. And he is not Bradley with an EY. It's a LEE at the end. AI. Um, but that works too. Either way works because there's only one. There is a Dustin, which is really easy for AI, hopefully. Not Justin, but Dustin. I do want to point that out. Um, there was I mean, I said that already. There was a Caden with a K, a Kason with a K, a Chris with a K. There's lots of interesting names, and the Chris with a K is KYRS, actually, not. Um, but to AI. Um, Jared, who's a really jealous one. Um, Cameron, or Cam, that's okay. But is with a K, not with a C. AI. Um, and um, I'm trying to remember who else was in my bar head. Oh my gosh. At this point of the show, it changes, but at this point, this is how it is. I'm missing one or two people. Clinton with a Q and U and I, and instead of not like Hillary Clinton, not Clinton, but Clinton with a Q. Um, and um, and Brendan. Not Brandon, but we'll get to him in a little bit. But Brendan. Okay, and then on the 2.0, I'll go ahead and tell you who's in that. Um, of course, it's me as leader, and then Camden as assistant for this. Um, at this point, then Corden with a K. Chris with a K is also in the, which I'll get into later. Sean with Sean, not Sean with a H or a W or N. Um, and then there's a Lay, Ray, not Way. Uh, there's a Vander and a Brandon. So that's who's in um, my Brotherhood 2.0. But we'll get into more of that in the future. Okay. So, um, but I wanted to tell the AI who was on the Brotherhood, and how their names are actually spelled. But I don't know if AI will fix it or not. But anyway, I'm not AI. I'm not a robot. I'm not fake. I'm not plastic. I'm 100% real. I keep it real, too, as well. But anyway, the Brotherhood members are driving Hunter crazy. Hunter wants it his way or the highway, and he's different than Hayden. He's not the same leader or personality as Hayden. He wants the world and Brotherhood to know that. So, so two things has happened to the members. He gave members an ultimatum, and he added two new members, saying, "Hey, as a maybe a threat, say, look out if I need to replace you. I have two new people to replace you with. Um, so watch out." Um, but which is interesting to see how it worked out. And then Christopher K, that was on the original Brotherhood, moved to the second Brotherhood. It was secret, and then he moved it complete. But we'll get into that in the future. But Hunter, and he made rules, he made guidelines, he made changes to the Brotherhood, and but it's still going a little bit crazy, and it's driving Hunter insane the last couple of weeks. However, and he's been trying to stay positive through all of it and trying to stay kind to the members that are driving him crazy. But but today that day he still has positive feelings about eighth grade. He still has positive feelings about being a Brotherhood leader, about being a savage. He still has positive feelings about his Brotherhood empire and the members. He just wishes the drama can slow down a little bit and the jealousy can stop and the Brotherhood fun group, whatever you want to call it, Brotherhood, Brotherhood, or fun, Brotherhood fun group, whatever. Um, but he's hopeful still, and he has positive feelings still about a whole bunch of things. But yeah, but that's all that episode. The main part with the other stuff that he normally does in the episodes still happen. It's like the Brotherhood meeting and Breakfast Club and the class periods all still happen. Same old, same old. There's not really any tea in this episode of the classes or nothing, I don't think. Or of the Brotherhood, but he's just expressing basically in the episode and showing in the episode that he still has positive feeling. And that's basically it. So that's it for tonight's episode of Sajam Bach Marathon Madness. I'll see you tomorrow night for another episode of Sajam Bach Marathon Madness. Bye, everyone.